I think now we are going to listen to Cristina Costa. She's at the University of Strathclyde, and we are waiting for her at Skype, I believe.
Yes,
Cristina?
she's with us right now.
Cristina, good morning.
Hi, Cristina.
Cristina, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, lovely.
Brilliant. I'm just
that you are not here with us, but I hope next time we can join us. I think you are going to give us a talk about digital literacies, cultural and social practices in the UK. Can you please tell us something about this, please?
Your sound is coming a bit choppy, but so I just want to give you guys a kind of an update of what we're doing here in Scotland and in the UK. I'm going to try to share my screen so that see if you can check my slides. So I hope this works. I hope it doesn't kind of chop the bandwidth. If it does, let me know. Okay. And I'm happy just to kind of talk through it. But can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Brilliant. So, actually, I'm not sure this is working.
Okay.
Now it's not working.
No.
All right. So maybe it's not worth it if it's not working. I'll just give it another go, and if it doesn't work, I'll just speak through it, and you'll just have to put up with my voice.
Cristina, I have your presentation that you sent by email. If you want, I can show it, and you can tell me when to change the slides.
Okay, maybe you can see it now. Let me just see. I'll just put it a bit bigger here.
Yes.
Yeah, and
okay.
We'll just work it like this. Okay, so I'll just kind of, without any further ado, I'll just start to kind of give you kind of a background, what we mean by, or how we conceptualize digital literacies in the context of the UK and Scotland in particular, and which has to do with a kind of probably a longer tradition in trying to kind of understand the effect of technologies in society and in general, and in learning and working in particular in the context of the UK. And it has pretty much at the beginning been, I can see the audience, that's nice. There was a kind of a trend at the very beginning to look at digital literacies from a kind of a schooling perspective. And as you can see in my slide, might not be that visible, but I kind of tried to summarize this for you. The Future Lab in 2010 was talking about digital literacies already as a combination of skills, knowledge, and understanding, but they were targeting it as at young people, and this had to do with the kind of a little bit of the kind of understanding that literacies is something that is taught in schools. But they were already making a huge contribution in the sense that they were going beyond the technical skills, what we call the pushing of the buttons. And what I mean by this is there was not just about creating accounts online, but actually looking at how we behave online and how that kind of shapes our practices and how that can put us at an advantage or at a disadvantage. And that had to do already with the kind of rhetoric around the idea of a digital economy that that the UK is very keen on supporting. And within that context, just last year, just right after we had submitted this proposal for the European Commission, came up with this definition of digital literacies as the capabilities which fit someone for living, learning, and working in a digital society. And that is a much more inclusive definition of what we mean by digital literacies, and one that already focus beyond the school. And it's with this in mind that we started working on our conceptualization of digital literacies for this project. So I'm not going to bother you with different frameworks that have kind of informed our thinking for the project, but I think Paulo will be able to share the slides with you as well. There are different frameworks, and as you can see, this is the latest one from JISC, where they talk about ICT proficiency, so the pushing of the buttons as being a kind of the core, but then all the other aspects that are as important, such as the way you kind of engage in scholarship, the way you kind of communicate, collaborate, develop yourself, and kind of navigate information. And one of the kind of emergent aspects is this idea of digital footprints and how that kind of influences everything you do online. And with that as well, the idea of well-being. And these are two areas that are under research right now. And so with that in mind, we started to kind of develop our kind of perception of digital literacies for this project. Just very briefly, there's other frameworks that has influenced us as well. One coming from Canada, another one that has kind of emerged parallel to the JISC one from Rheingold, and another one in the UK that again is touching on this idea of identities and reputation management. So going beyond all of those technical skills. So this our kind of working definition of digital literacies has become something like social and cultural practices that are developed online. So we're looking at kind of a culture and kind of social conventions associated with this. And what we've noticed, and also based on research that has recently been published in the Netherlands, which is a kind of again another country that probably is similar to our reality in the UK, is that there are new digital divides emerging. So if you're talking about digital inclusion and digital exclusion, there are different digital divides. So from the 1960s, we've been talking about digital divides in terms of technology access, but now we're starting to talk about technology accessibility. So how do we use these technologies? That is the biggest divide, the ways in which we're employing these technologies. And that has to do with different factors in UK and particularly in Scotland. Scotland and Glasgow in particular, which is where we are based, have devised new policies on the digital economy, and they have also provided, starting to kind of provide guidance and open those guidance to consultancy around the use of digital technologies and the associated skills. We have actually contributed as part of this project to the digital literacy consultancy. And we talked about also these ideas of promoting social and cultural capital around digital literacies as a way of including the citizen within this digital economy. So what we found out from those consultancies that we participated in as part of our studies and as part of our project is that we need to move beyond theory, and we need to kind of attach all of these ideas and all of these kind of observations that we've made into practice. And so as part of that and as part of the project, what we've been doing is, as Paulo already mentioned before, is we've been doing a set of online seminars based on the tutorials that are online, but also developing and discussing all of these digital practices. What does it mean to be online? What are the issues that we have with being online? What are the things that we have not considered? Because the rules of participating online haven't yet been written in the same way that the rules of operating in a face-to-face environment are acquired as we go along. So as part of that, we try to engage stakeholders from all over the UK on the ideas of digital identities, which has to do with that idea of digital footprints, but also the ideas of digital rights and responsibilities. How can we behave online? We also then got requests to talk about security, privacy and safety, and digital etiquette as the social and cultural norms. So that created quite a lot of kind of enthusiasm and participation. Each tutorial as a kind of and seminar has been watched now more than 100 times, and at the time that we were offering them, we had more than 30 participants in each one of them. So we had a good turnaround that shows the need of people engaging in these discussions and finding ways of kind of developing these ideas, of putting these ideas in practice. The other thing that we've done, I run a master's degree and I work with student teachers, some of them that are interested in community education. And so we've developed also sessions with them on digital literacies, and soon enough there will be resources available that have been developed in collaboration with these stakeholders. So it was interesting to hear the coordinator also talking about aging as being an aspect of digital literacy that we need to target, and we do have that in mind. When we talk about this idea that digital literacies are becoming cultural and social practices that we need to develop rather than the technical skills or solely the technical skills, we are targeting at a much wider range of people. And so recently we have started to work as part of the consultancy and the seminar series that we've developed. We started to work with the 3Ls Association. So the 3Ls Association is the association in Scotland for learning in later life, and it's the people that are kind of retired but still want to be actively involved in learning and participating in different activities. And so what we've been doing is working with them to develop digital literacies that they can then pass on to other members of their association. So as part of that, we've also been working with the Centre for Lifelong Learning at our university and the Scottish Qualification Association on developing digital literacy clinics. And what this is drop-in sessions that people can attend, and they can come up with their own questions and with their own kind of issues, and will provide support. And those have become quite popular now. We've developed. We're now offering them twice a month, every other Wednesday. And the conversations that we've been having with the CLL is that this is a potential project to continue after the end of the Uptake project. In July, we're also going to offer an online course based on the user needs. So again, looking at how the community can develop their own curriculum so that we can develop a better understanding of which of these social and cultural practices do people need more. So we're going to work with the Scottish Qualification Association as well, and potentially other stakeholders such as the University of Southampton to develop an open online kind of, I'm not sure if we're going to call it course, but it's kind of a space where people can come together to solve any kind of issues around their practices online. And that's going to be targeted again to wider groups of people that might be interested in these kind of issues. So that's where we are at right now. I don't know if we have any time for questions. I hope this was useful.
We don't have time for questions. I'm sorry. Maybe if people just want to know more, maybe they can email you or email us just to know a little bit more about what is happening in Scotland.
That's totally fine.
Okay. Thank you very much, Cristina, for being with us.
Bye.
Okay.